The maelstrom of racing thoughts, a ceaseless torrent of worries and doubts, can easily cloud the brilliance of the present moment, trapping the mind in a relentless cycle of anxiety. However, the ancient teachings of Buddhism offer a path to transform this inner turmoil into a profound serenity, not by suppressing our feelings, but through the cultivation of mindful attention and compassionate acceptance. It is about learning to navigate the turbulent waters of the mind with awareness and skill, recognizing that the journey toward inner calm begins with a gentle look inward and the permission to simply slow down. In this video, we will explore 10 Buddhist precepts that serve as a guide to break free from the grip of anxiety and attain a state of lasting tranquility. Before we delve into these teachings, an invitation. If this content resonates with you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future reflections. First, precept: quiet the mind's endless chatter. The restless mind is like a monkey swinging from branch to branch, an endless stream of thoughts that pulls us away from the now. It projects into the future, replays the past, all in a futile attempt to control the uncontrollable. Buddhism teaches us that the first step toward freedom is to observe these thoughts without judgment, as if they were passing clouds in a vast, unchanging sky. When we cease to identify with every thought that arises, the mind naturally finds its center and grows still. It is a common misconception that we must fight against negative thoughts, a battle that only gives them more strength. The more we try to push them away, the more they persist. True peace emerges when we simply let them come and go, recognizing their transient nature. We remain serene and unshaken, like the sky that holds all clouds without being affected by them. To sit in silence and watch one's own mind is an act of profound power. At first it may seem like a Herculean task, almost impossible, but with consistent practice, we realize that thoughts do not possess the power we attribute to them. They arise and dissipate, and in the space between one thought and the next, true peace resides. This inner silence is not the absence of thought, but the absence of confusion. It is when we stop chasing after every idea that the mind begins to slow down. And in this quietude, clarity emerges. We see things as they truly are, without the distortions of fear or desire. Buddhism reminds us that the mind can be our greatest ally or our worst prison. If we become hostages to our thoughts, suffering is inevitable. But if we learn to observe them with detachment, we achieve freedom. No monumental effort is needed to change everything. It is enough to be present and aware. Wisdom blossoms from silence. When we are attentive, we notice that many of our thoughts are not even our own. They are echoes of the past, inherited fears, societal pressures. By observing all of this with calm, we can choose what truly matters, transforming the battlefield of the mind into a flourishing garden of peace. Meditation is a simple and deeply effective tool. It requires nothing more than to sit and breathe. The breath anchors us in the now, the only place where life truly happens. Even if the mind wanders, we gently guide it back, training our attention with patience and without self-criticism. To silence the mind is not to escape from life, but to dive into it authentically. Mental noise distracts us. When we quiet it, we can hear the voice of the heart, that which lies beyond words. The world feels lighter, more real, and suffering diminishes because we stop feeding it with incessant thinking. Practicing this teaching does not require years of study. You can start with a few minutes a day, anywhere, anytime. Just breathe and observe. The thoughts will come, and that is perfectly okay. Do not fight, just see. And in that seeing, something within you will begin to awaken. Over time, you will no longer be dominated by the mind's highs and lows. There will be an unshakable stability, even amid storms. Silence will become your refuge, and in that refuge you will find the clarity you have always sought. Buddhism reminds us, a peaceful mind is the key to a full life, and that peace already resides within you. Second precept: welcome emotions as visitors. Emotions are like guests who come and go from our inner home. Some, like joy and peace, arrive gently. Others, like anger, sadness, and fear, burst in with force. However, all of them bring valuable lessons. Buddhism guides us not to resist our emotions, but to observe them with attention and respect. This does not mean passive acceptance, but a deep understanding, without letting them overpower us. When we label an emotion as wrong or bad, we create an internal conflict, a useless struggle that only increases the turbulence. Emotions exist for a reason. They are messengers from our mind and body. If we ignore or suppress them, they return with even greater intensity. Instead, we can welcome them as one would receive a guest, with attentiveness and compassion. Observing emotions is not about getting lost in them, but the very opposite. It is about maintaining a respectful distance, feeling the emotion without drowning in it, seeing it without allowing it to take control. This conscious posture transforms our relationship with our own suffering. Pain ceases to be an enemy and becomes an opportunity for growth. Acceptance opens the door to inner healing. Buddhism reminds us of the impermanence of all emotions. No emotional state lasts forever. The sadness of today will not be the same tomorrow. The fear that paralyzes you now can dissolve with time. By accepting this truth, we learn to trust the flow of life, knowing that everything changes. This wisdom gives us the courage to feel, without the fear of getting stuck in what we are feeling. By treating emotions as visitors, we stop building walls and start opening doors. This is not about losing control, but gaining understanding. To understand an emotion is like turning on a light in a dark room. What seemed frightening is revealed to be merely human, and in this compassionate gaze, liberation begins. The emotion no longer dominates us because we are no longer afraid of it. Many believe that feeling anger or sadness is a sign of weakness, but on the path of awakening, to feel deeply is a sign of courage. Running away from emotions is the easy path. Facing them with serenity is the real challenge. When we stop running, we find an inner strength, quiet and firm, that sustains us through the storms of the soul. The daily practice of mindfulness helps us to recognize what we are feeling. Sometimes, an emotion arises without a name, but if we breathe calmly and observe with gentleness, it reveals itself. Perhaps it is fatigue, loneliness, or a feeling of lack, and by recognizing it, we can care for it, like a gardener offering water and light to a wilting plant. Awareness heals. We don't need to solve everything at once. It is enough to feel truthfully. When we accept our emotions without masks, we become more human. We allow the heart to expand, and in this expanded space, we find more peace. Suffering diminishes because we are no longer at war with it. Buddhism invites us to see emotions as part of the path, not as obstacles, but as teachers. Every emotion brings a lesson. Anger might point to a boundary that has been crossed. Sadness might highlight something that needs care. Fear might remind us of a wound that has not yet healed. And by listening attentively, we move from reacting to responding with wisdom. In the silence of observation, peace is born. Not a forced peace, but a peace that is alive, real, and profound. A peace that does not depend on circumstances, but on how we relate to what we feel. When we learn to welcome everything that arises, without attachment or aversion, the heart is strengthened. And this gentle strength is one of the greatest riches that Buddhism can offer. Third precept, slow down, do one thing at a time. We live in a world that glorifies speed. Multitasking has become a symbol of efficiency, but this constant race steals our peace. The mind becomes fragmented, the body tense, and the heart distant from the present. Buddhism teaches that true freedom begins when we slow down. By doing less, with more presence, we live with greater depth. Doing one thing at a time is more powerful than it seems. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. It sounds simple, but it is a great challenge for the agitated mind, which yearns to rush into the future or revisit the past. But it is in the now that life truly happens. When you are fully present, even the simplest act becomes sacred. Anxiety is born from the desire to be somewhere else, doing something else. It is as if the present moment is never enough. But the now is all that truly exists. The past is gone, the future has not yet arrived. When you slow down and focus on what you're doing, the mind calms. You stop chasing after life and start living it. In Buddhism, mindful walking is a prime example of this. Every step taken with attention is a step toward peace. You don't need to change your location, only the way you move, feeling the ground beneath your feet, the air entering and leaving your body, the silence around you. These small details reconnect us with the present, and in the present there is no room for anxiety to grow. When you reduce your pace, You notice things that previously went unseen. The taste of your food, the brightness of the sun, the sound of the rain. Everything comes alive. A present mind is like a clean lens, revealing the hidden beauty in everything. You begin to feel more whole, and this feeling of completeness dissolves the constant sense of lack. This practice does not require radical changes. You can start now, right where you are. Take a deep breath and feel what you are doing. Observe the movement of your hands, the temperature of the room, the sound of your own voice. Every daily gesture can become a meditation if done with attention. This simple practice transforms everyday life into a spiritual path. By doing everything in a hurry, we lose more than time. We lose our connection to life itself. Buddhism invites us to trade quantity for quality. Fewer tasks, more presence. Less rush, more awareness. When you act this way, each moment becomes complete, and the mind learns it no longer needs to escape to the next instant. The fear of not getting everything done fuels the rush, but the truth is, by doing one thing at a time, you become more effective. A focused mind makes fewer mistakes, tires less, and accomplishes more with a sense of ease. Anxiety dissolves because you stop living in the future. Everything flows better when you are whole in every action, in every word, in every breath. Inner silence grows when you slow down. You begin to realize what truly matters. Not everything needs to be done right now. Not everything needs to be done by you. This wisdom is born from contact with the present moment, and it offers a new way of living. Softer, more conscious, more true. To reduce your pace is not to stop living. It is to learn to live with more presence. Doing one thing at a time is a gift you give yourself. Buddhism shows us that when we are truly here, peace does not need to be sought. It reveals itself. And in this state of presence, anxiety dissolves like mist in the sun. Excellent. Here is the second block of the script. Fourth precept. Strengthen body and mind with the breath. The breath is the seamless bridge between the body and the mind. It is a constant quiet rhythm of life that we so often take for granted. Yet when we bring our conscious attention to it, everything changes. The heart slows its frantic pace, the storm of thoughts begins to calm, and the body releases its tightly held tension. Buddhism teaches us that the breath is our most faithful anchor to the present moment. It is a tool of profound simplicity that reconnects us with life, with the here and now. To breathe with awareness is more than just a mechanical exercise. It is an act of deep self-care. As you inhale, you welcome life itself. As you exhale, you release what no longer serves you. This simple, rhythmic practice holds the power to transform our internal states. In moments of peak anxiety or stress, a single conscious breath can be enough to restore a sense of equilibrium. It is an invitation to come back home, to the quiet sanctuary within yourself. The agitated mind has a tendency to endlessly sprint toward the future or wander through the corridors of the past. The breath always brings you back. When you feel the air enter your nostrils, fill your lungs, and then gently depart, you create an inner spaciousness where calm can arise. This presence fundamentally alters your perception of the world. What seemed overwhelmingly large becomes manageable. What felt confusing begins to find its clarity. In the Buddhist tradition, the breath is seen as a gateway to wisdom. It is not necessary to understand everything with the rational mind. It is enough to feel the body, to feel the air, to feel life. With each mindful breath, we create a small pocket of peace, and these small moments repeated throughout the day accumulate to build a more tranquil mind and a lighter heart. Practicing conscious breathing requires no effort. You can do it while sitting, lying down, walking, or even washing the dishes. The only instruction is to gently guide your attention to the air as it enters and leaves your body. In the beginning, the mind will inevitably wander, but each time you patiently return your focus to the breath, you are training the muscle of presence. Over time, this training becomes second nature, an automatic reflex of peace. The body also benefits profoundly from this practice. Mindful breathing reduces muscular tension, improves circulation, and strengthens the nervous system. It is a silent yet powerful form of medicine. When the body is at peace, the mind finds more room to rest. And when the mind rests, suffering diminishes. In moments of emotional pain, the breath can be a safe harbor. Instead of reacting impulsively, you breathe. Instead of getting lost in fear, you breathe. This simple act creates a pause, a sacred space between a trigger and your response. It grants you time, clarity, and the wisdom to choose how you will act. The breath is also a way to reconnect with the vividness of the present. When you are truly present, life takes on a different texture. Food has more flavor, music has more depth, a touch has more meaning. Everything becomes more real. And this reality is where peace resides. The mind ceases its wandering and comes to rest in the now. Buddhism reminds us that we do not need to escape from life to find peace. Peace is found in the way we breathe, in the way we walk, in the way we feel. To breathe with attention is like lighting a candle in the dark. It illuminates your inner world, even on the most difficult days. It is a constant, gentle reminder that everything is all right, right here in this very instant. To strengthen body and mind does not require elaborate rituals. It simply requires returning to the breath, once, twice, 3 times a day, with calmness, with presence, with kindness. Life breathes through us at every moment. We only need to listen, and in listening we become more alive, more present, more free. It all begins with a single, gentle inhale and a soft, complete exhale. 5th precept: care for the environment around you. The space we inhabit is both a reflection of our inner state and a powerful influence upon it. A disorganized environment, filled with clutter and excess, inevitably generates mental confusion. Conversely, a clean, harmonious space transmits a sense of calm and clarity. Buddhism teaches that all things are interconnected. To care for our external world is also to care for our inner world. When you organize the place where you live, your mind also begins to reorganize itself. The simplicity of the space brings a lightness to the heart. Each object in its proper place creates a feeling of order and tranquility. This is not about luxury or aesthetics, but about balance. A calm environment invites the body and mind to rest. The act of cleaning your home can become a profound meditation. As you sweep the floor, you can imagine you are also clearing away scattered thoughts. As you dust the shelves, you can visualize letting go of old grievances. A present mind transforms any mundane task into a healing ritual. With attention and care, everything takes on a new meaning. Even the simplest act becomes sacred. The excess of things can trap us emotionally. We hold onto objects out of attachment, out of fear or out of habit, but often they do little more than occupy space and block the flow of energy. Buddhism invites us to practice non-attachment. Letting go of what is no longer useful opens up space for the new. And this emptiness is not an absence, but a form of freedom. Caring for your environment is also an act of respect. Respect for yourself and for those who share your life. A tidy room, a welcoming living area, a clean kitchen. These things transmit love. The care you put into your space reveals the care you have for life itself. And to live with this awareness is a core part of the path to awakening. Every detail in your environment communicates something to your mind. The colors, the smells, the sounds. A quiet corner can become a refuge of peace. A well-tended plant reminds us of the beauty of life. The natural light entering through a window brings warmth to the spirit. These are small gestures that create powerful effects. It all begins with attention. The environment also directly influences our emotions. Cluttered places can increase anxiety. Dark or noisy spaces can cause irritation. In contrast, a space that is airy, simple, and clean invites serenity. The body relaxes, the breath slows, the mind quiets. And it is in this state that our best thoughts arise. It doesn't take much to transform a place. Sometimes all it takes is opening a window, lighting some incense, or playing soft music. Other times it requires letting go of what no longer serves you. The important thing is to create a space that feels welcoming, that inspires you, that nourishes your soul. A space that is a reflection of the peace you seek within. Buddhism teaches us that everything has an energy, and this energy moves all around us. When we cultivate harmony in our space, we cultivate harmony within ourselves. This isn't about perfection, but about presence. Being attentive to your environment is a way of practicing being in the now, and the now is where everything is transformed. Care for your space as you would care for a temple, with kindness, with respect, with love. Not because someone else will see it, but because you deserve to live in peace. A harmonious environment doesn't just beautify your life, it heals. And in this silent healing, body and mind can flourish. It all begins around you and expands inward. Sixth precept: avoid comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others is a subtle and insidious trap. The mind looks outward and forgets to look inward. We see the success, the beauty, or the perceived happiness of another person and immediately conclude that we are falling behind. But every human being is on a completely unique path. Buddhism teaches that peace arises when we stop measuring ourselves by someone else's ruler and begin to value who we truly are. The act of comparison is born from the illusion that there is a single, ideal standard to live up to. We want the right body, the perfect life, the ideal pace. But life is not a race. There is no common finish line. Each person has their own time to blossom, their own way of living. When we can truly accept this, a great weight is lifted from our shoulders. And this relief creates space for serenity to grow. Looking too much at others distances us from ourselves. We begin to pursue goals that are not our own, to desire things that do not truly fulfill us. It is like wearing clothes that don't fit. They pinch, they are uncomfortable, they suffocate us. True freedom lies in recognizing your own intrinsic worth. Self-esteem is not built through comparison, but through acceptance. Buddhism invites us to cultivate compassion, especially for ourselves. Instead of judging ourselves for not being like others, we can embrace ourselves. We can recognize our own qualities, even if they are different from those the world tends to value. The grass on the other side only looks greener because we have forgotten to water our own. Constant comparison breeds insecurity and frustration. There will always be someone who seems to be doing better, but this is only an appearance. No one truly knows the silent battles another person is fighting. When we compare lives, we are only comparing facades. Looking deeply into yourself brings far more clarity than looking outward. The mind that compares is a restless mind. It never feels sufficient. It is always seeking something that is just out of reach. This movement steals our peace. But when we turn our attention back to our own path, anxiety diminishes. Life begins to make sense again. And in this rediscovered meaning, the joy of simply being is born. Practicing gratitude is a powerful antidote to comparison. When we recognize the value in our own lives, our perspective shifts. We begin to see blessings where before there was only complaint. The mind stops chasing what is missing and learns to appreciate what is already here. This strengthens the heart and nourishes the soul. Comparison also pulls us away from authenticity. We try to imitate what we see in others, forgetting our own essence. But the true beauty of existence is in its diversity. Each person has something unique to offer the world. In Buddhism, we understand that every being is a singular expression of life, and by embracing our difference, we find our true place. Happiness is not a trophy to be won through competition. It is a state of presence, of acceptance, and of connection. When we free ourselves from the need to be better than someone else, we can breathe more lightly and live more truthfully. And it is this inner truth that truly sustains us, in both our joys and our difficulties. To compare is to distance yourself from your true self. To value yourself is to come home. Buddhism shows us that we are neither less than nor more than anyone else. We are simply different, and this difference is a gift. By honoring your own path, you find peace. And where there is peace, there is strength. A quiet strength that is born from loving yourself exactly as you are. We are now about 2/3 of the way through our journey in this video. As we pause here for a moment, I want to extend an invitation. These teachings often touch each of us in very personal ways. If one of them in particular has spoken to you so far, or if you have a practice that helps you find your own center, I would be honored if you shared it in the comments below. Your story or insight could be a light for someone else navigating their own path. It's a wonderful way for us to build a community of shared wisdom and support right here. And if you're finding value in this time together, please consider subscribing to the channel to continue this exploration with us. Our journey toward tranquility continues by turning to the breath, the sacred bridge connecting body and mind. It is our most faithful anchor to the present moment, a simple tool we can use anytime to interrupt the cycle of anxiety. When we consciously inhale, we welcome life. As we exhale, we release what no longer serves us. This rhythmic practice is a powerful act of self-care, creating an inner spaciousness where calm can arise, proving we do not need to escape life to find peace, but simply to breathe with it. This inner harmony is deeply connected to our outer world. Buddhism teaches that our environment is a mirror to our mind, meaning a clear and intentional space helps nurture a clear and peaceful mind. The process of organizing our home becomes a meditation in itself, an opportunity to mindfully let go of not just physical clutter, but also the mental attachments they represent. By creating a sanctuary around us, we support the sanctuary within. From this foundation of inner and outer calm, we can more easily address the subtle trap of comparison. Constantly measuring ourselves against others pulls us away from our own unique path, breeding insecurity and the feeling of never being enough. The true antidote is to turn our gaze inward with self-compassion, practicing gratitude for the life that is ours, and honoring our individual journey. Lasting peace is not found in a competition with others, but in the freedom of being authentically ourselves, embracing our differences as a gift. As we pause with these teachings, I invite you to connect with us. If a particular idea has resonated with you, or if you have a practice that brings you back to your center, please consider sharing your experience in the comments. Your story could be a gentle guide for someone else on their path, and if you're finding value in our time together, please subscribe to continue this exploration with us.